Hi, this is Ralph Ferret, the Branch Secretary of the Plymouth and East Cornwall MAL, with another in our series of videos about the union's 4 Pillars of Security campaign and where we are with pay, pensions, major change in the workplace. So today's video is really going to focus on where things are in terms of pay and what that's going to mean for us. So before I start talking about the details of what's happening in terms of the talks and where we're at and what it means, I think there's something that I'd like to everybody to have in mind when they're looking at this video and they're thinking about what I have to say. And that thing is that very recently Royal Mail announced that they had made a £700 million profit. That's a huge profit. That's the biggest profit both in absolute terms and real terms that the company's ever made. So when they're pleading poverty to all of us, and when they're saying that we have to have restraint and tighten our belts and there's no money for any of our agenda, bear that in mind. So what have they offered? Well, I think before I say about what they've offered, it's probably important to tell you what they want in return. Because there's never been a list of demands that the company have put forward that have been so taxing and so onerous and what will probably be so unpopular with all of you. So let's talk about some of the main things. First one, monthly pay. Royal Mail see this as a no-brainer because they don't believe that anybody loses out. You still get paid the same, and they stand to save tens of millions of pounds by doing the payroll once a month rather than 4 or 5 times a month. And I know that for many of you, monthly pay would be pretty much the worst thing that could ever happen. And Royal Mail basically want that just as business as usual. The next thing is they want to have a massive attack on our legacy allowances and payments. So anybody who's an ex-PhD, if you've got any grandfathered rights, anything that the company promised you forever if you agreed to change, they now want to take all of that back. They want to take tens of millions of pounds off us in terms of allowances. And they're making offers of buy downs and so on and so forth, and I'll explain a little about what they mean by that later. But the bottom line is that they want to take tens of millions of pounds out of our pocket in allowances. And the way they're justifying that, what they're saying is that this is part of the fairness agenda. So they're saying that because there are 2 people sat next to each other doing the same job, some of them getting paid more than the others, that's unfair, you guys don't want it, and Royal Mail is being kind to you by evening things out. But at the same time that they're telling us that, they're also telling us that another of the savings that they want is that they want to bring in an entirely new grade on worse terms and conditions. So what is it, Royal Mail? What is it, Moya? Do you think that there's a rate of pay for the job, or do you think that actually you're happy to have 2 different things? You know, when we have grandfather rights, that's a promise the company has made to the people who deal with very difficult change, and we expect the company to honour their promises. Another of their big ticket issues in terms of what they want in order to make any sort of a pay offer to us is that they want to absolutely gut sick pay. So they want it so the first 3 days that you're off, no matter what's happened, you don't get paid. So if you've hurt your leg because you're on a 6 or 7 hour delivery, which is the kind of plans that we expect the Royal Mail are going to put forward to us, if you're unlucky enough to have a heart attack or cancer, first 3 days you don't get paid. And they want to reduce our overall level of sick pay to 6 weeks. So if you are unlucky to be one of those people suffering terrible illness, you're going to be put in the poorhouse. And there's other things that they are looking at in terms of clawing back some money. So even though they promised to us that they were going to honour the management and the surplus framework and our terms for redundancy, they're now saying that redundancy costs them too much money. They believe there's an appetite for people to go out on the cheap, and they want to try and rip that money away from us and make it so that if you do get made redundant, if you are surplus, then the terms you go out on are less generous. You know, there's more than all of those things. I'm just trying to give you a snapshot of the breadth of things that Royal Mail want from us. And so for all of that, for all of those changes, and they want to tie in the money that they save on the pension on this as well, for all of that, what they're offering us is 250 quid. Yep, you heard me right. That wasn't a mistake. £250. That's not consolidated either. That's not on your basic wage. That's a lump sum of £250. And what they're saying is that moving forward, for us to be able to have any kind of improvements to our terms and conditions, to have any kind of a pay rise, it has to be funded entirely from savings. So any extra money that the company get because we've won and delivered new business to customers, we can't have any of that. If we manage to put our prices up and it has a massive uplift on the company's bottom line because inflation's happened and a year's gone by and things cost more money, we won't get to see any of that. The only money that will ever be available for us to have anything more is from permanent savings. And what they're saying is they'll keep the first 3% of that, so they want to bank that as well. And only a proportion of what happens over 3% can we expect to have anything of that in our pockets. Now, I think and I hope that all of our members will see that this is a disgusting attack on it. Royal Mail are being greedy, they're being entirely unreasonable, and they don't seem like they're a partner that we can do business with. So that's where we are at Pay. The union reject this. We believe that Royal Mail has the ability to give us a decent pay rise with the profits that they made. We don't believe that they should be prioritising giving huge dividends to the Qatari state investment company, JP Morgan Chase, George Osborne's brother-in-law and all the other people who made a killing on the privatisation. We believe that if Royal Mail are making a £700 million profit, that means that we can expect to see some of the fruits of our hard work. Our pay claim is reasonable, and what we're looking to try and do in terms of the shorter working week is reasonable. Now we know and we acknowledge that there are challenges facing Royal Mail, and the union and all of you I'm sure are up for seeing how we can do things differently to make sure the business is more successful. But all Royal Mail want to do is cut, and they want to try and take things away from us so that they can increase the dividend that they give to shareholders. And I hope that all of you watching this video and all of our other members across every unit in this branch will see that the only way that we're going to have a decent future in life is if we stand up for what we've got and we're prepared to fight for what we've got. So, comrades, thanks for taking the time to listen to me. There's more detail to the pay proposals and that's going to be a developing situation. I'll be carrying on coming around to every unit on a rolling basis, doing gate meetings and work time learning sessions to update you. And if anyone has any questions in the meantime, please feel free to contact your area rep, section secretary or the branch office direct. But this is a fight we have to win. So, comrades, keep the faith. The CW will prevail if we all stand together. Thanks for listening.